Continuing down the road, you can see my cabin that I built. And you might think, oh wow, Steve has a lot of money. No, this cabin only cost me about $200 to build. Had some friends help, and we cut the trees with a chainsaw and dragged them here with my Suzuki, and then stacked them up. And someone gave me an old barn. I just dismantled the barn and then brought it here and used that to make the roof and the rafters. And there you go, $200. I do have some plants planted around here. Just thought I'd show you. Blueberries. Of course the leaves haven't come out yet because it is early spring. But we have 2 blueberry bushes. Over here, this is going to be a pawpaw, which is somewhat like a banana. There's a small ramp patch here. Ramps are a wild onion. I have some wild garlic. A small strawberry patch. There are strawberries in here, you just have to find them. And I don't use any chemicals. Everything grows naturally here. Over on the other hill, right under the cabin, in the front, more strawberries, all along the hillside, holding the soil in place. There's a grape up here. Now this is a Concord grape, a hybrid variety. You might be wondering, what are all these unusual edible plants he's planted? Well, I plant edible plants because I can't stand the thought of traditional landscaping techniques where you plant some kind of ornamental for looks only. You don't get any benefit from it. Any benefit other than the aesthetic benefit. I prefer something that you can eat. Maybe it's just because I like to eat. I don't know. But if you plant something and you can get something back from it and not have to give it a lot of attention, then it should be the most logical choice. And what I mean by attention is nasty fertilizer, continuous weeding. Plant a native variety. You don't have to water it. You don't have to think about it. It'll grow. Like blueberries, for instance. Native grapes. Heirloom variety apples. Pawpaws. Take a look at this. So why did I leave my sink on? Actually, the main question should be, whoa, look, a sink outside of the cabin? Yeah, why not? Why did I leave my sink on? Well, for one, it's gravity feed coming from a spring. And if I were to turn it off, it wouldn't bother anything. It would just overflow up at the reservoir and run back into the creek, which is right over there. So the water comes from the creek to the reservoir through a pipe to the sink and then flows back down into the creek. So I'm not wasting water at all, just diverting it a little bit. So what, you don't think I'll drink it? Nothing like spring water. So, we follow the black pipe up the hill. We'll take a look at my gravity feed water system. Now I'm down in the creek and you can see the black pipe that flows through the creek. The reason it's in the creek is because it stays the temperature of the water. Even in the coldest winter days, it'll hardly ever freeze. Here we have the reservoir. Let me back up and get a better angle here. Kind of looks like a moonshine still, doesn't it? Let's go up and take a look at where the water starts. Well, here's the spring head. The water is underneath the tin. Now, the reason it's under the tin keeps out heavy debris such as leaves and twigs and sticks and mud. If there was a big heavy rain and mud were to come washing down the hill, it would hopefully go over top of the tin and not into the water. Also, it keeps out raccoons. A raccoon will want to go in there and drink. He may also defecate in the water, and we don't want any raccoon poo in our water. That's just not healthy. So let's look under the tin. Under the tin is the collection pipe and mud box. And what happens, the water will drip out of the earth, as you can see. Just running straight out of the ground. Drips into this little pool. And then it's taken into this pipe. You can hear the interesting reverberation of the water as it flows down the pipe into the barrel. Now this is the screen, and it's a little mucky. Clean this whole mud box out, in fact. It's been a while. There we go. Now this first screen just strains out the big stuff, as well as mud. Now this is really nasty now, and I won't drink the water for a few days until it clears. Now the beauty of a gravity feed water system is if the power goes out, you still have water. And if you look at this, you can see the cloudiness that I stirred up, but look at the clear water coming out from the earth, going directly into the pipe. Okay, let's go downstream and take a look at the rest of the contraption. So we've covered up the mud box, and we'll follow the water. It comes down underground through this, or actually above the ground, through this black pipe, down a right angle bend into another sediment trap. If you look in here, the mud that I just stirred up, you can see it down in here. It's just all collecting in this 5-gallon bucket. It's coming right down that black tube and emptying into the bottom of this 5-gallon bucket. And if you look at that sediment just blooming, and what's happening is the sediment then will settle to the bottom of this 5-gallon bucket, which I dump out from time to time. Then the clear water, or cleaner water, is drawn off the top through this white tube, and then it goes into the main 55-gallon drum, which also has a small screen here at the top to trap larger particles. But you can see the water as it runs in right there. Now yes, that should be covered, I know, because a raccoon could come up and take a drink, but more than likely he's not, because this 55-gallon drum is standing in a creek, and it's a lot easier just to drink straight out of the creek than climb up on a slick-sided plastic barrel. Now we have an overflow, of course, right here, and as you can see, it is overflowing, which is a very good sign. That just means that my input is greater than my output, which is what you want in a gravity feed system. And of course, we're back to the black pipe, which takes it down to the sink. And as I said before, a gravity feed system is better than city water for many reasons. One, if your power goes out, you always have water. And gravity feed water from a spring is considered live water. And what I mean by that is it has all kinds of microorganisms that are, well, honestly, some are good for you and some are not. But if you have them all in small quantities, then your immune system will be much better off. I think I can actually increase the flow here a little bit. There we go.